A lot of people that are broken from any type of trauma and are still suffering, they often take it out on themselves. For me, it was cutting. I used to be a major cutter. Even though I haven't cut myself in 20 something years, I still have all the scars on my arms from when I did. You see, when I cut, it wasn't really to unalive myself. I didn't want anyone to know that I was cutting either. Some people self-medicate with drugs and alcohol. My drug of choice was cutting. I would be so stressed out. My anxiety would be popping. My body would be shaking with all the rage and the depression and the anxiety and everything that came with processing through my trauma. And my drug of choice was taking something sharp and cutting my arm. And it was like a sweet drug because for once I felt pain someplace else. That pain in my arm, that quick cut, that quick sting, felt amazing. And then to watch the blood bubble up around it, it was a release. I felt all my anxiety, all my stress, all my pain dripping away from me just like my blood was. But hurting myself wasn't the answer. I still held on to all the hate that I had for all these people that hurt me. And sometimes I blamed myself for not acting a certain way or not being strong enough to prevent those things. That hate and that anger was destroying me inside and out. I would constantly get in fights. I would punch holes in walls. But most of all, I hated myself. This wasn't a colorism thing. This wasn't because I was mixed race or biracial. I just never cared about me. And because I couldn't hurt those people, I kept finding new ways to punish myself. And then I found myself at the top of a huge parking lot. You know those ones that have several stories? I was standing on the edge. And I remember calling CNN breaking news. And I told them I'm about to jump off this edge. I'm about to unalive myself. Do y'all want to hear my story why before I do? Of course they didn't. I don't blame them. They told me to hang up and call 911. So I did. I called 911 and someone started talking to me. You know, carrying all that trauma, you feel lonely. You feel alone and just depressed. And when you're suffering that much, the worst thing you can be is alone. I mean, you can be alone sometimes, but if you're constantly alone, it becomes a bad thing because you have no one to talk to. You have no one to express how you feel. And you're constantly craving that little bit of love and attention, that little bit of acknowledgement.